tends to shoot the three, and now they play back over to George, who does shoot the three. Book it for Paul George. For you, I'll have to have to order for a week, I think. Here's a turnover. Here's Paul George. There's a three. The luxury. Harkless trying to back down on McLemore. Finds a streaking Paul George. 14 times in the fourth quarter. Paul George, corner three. Yes, sir!
Williams to George. Off glass, and welcome to the family, Paul. Get the players. The new front office, he is going to be terrific. Hey, Paul George bouncing into defenders, lays it in.
Nice drawn up play, comes off a pin down and attacks that young fella he's going to be a very, very good young player.
George deep into the paint, deep into the well. What rust. Paul George is 3 of 4, has 7. George curling off a screen, flings a three and knocks it in. 10. Pat Beverly, no Kawhi Leonard, both expected back to the lineup on Saturday. Here is George knifing his way to the rim and lays it in with terrifying. George, mid-range shot is good. George with time and space says thank you very much and knocks down his sippy. He has 21 in his Clipper debut. How about 23, Mr. Clippers off and running. George behind the defense to the rim with the right hand and lays it in. 4-point game possession lead for the Pelicans. George tries to cut it down to 1 and does!
For him, 5 points, 4 rebounds, and an assist.
Look at him right here. Has this thing on a string. Nice little pullback, feet set, shoulder square, which made it look really obvious. But he's picked it up.
George with a step away knocks it in.
There you go again. Nice deflection right there.
And the pull-up from downtown for Paul George. He is not disappointed. The drive, the dish. Two-man game with man for the corner three. He loved it. The second it left his hand.
Driving the closeout and finding a big-time shooter.
Down to 11. George got it again. His third, making his fourth three of the half.
As you just said.
He trimmed to his single digits. Paul George spots an entry to the rim. Hit hard. Counted and a foul. And sent him to the line.
Need to get fouled really hard just to know, you know what? My shoulder's feeling just fine. That's the trend here. Keep this up.
But this is who he was all of last year. Counted and a foul. That sent him back to the line.
Situation. It doesn't matter when you put him on the floor.
Paul George is out there. He's only played 18 minutes. Swings a three. He has 6 threes tonight and 30. Score short. With a suspension on that. Paul George makes us proud.
It's saying defense to offense, Clipper fans. That's what you're going to see all year long.
And what is their decision making when they do so?
Paul George launches a three, rattles that in. His shooting since that's a couple of pit bulls going at it. Paul George.
And then Paul George, get me in the mid post. I got a short guy on me. How sweet is that?
We rely on him. Paul George. He'll stroll down the lane.
Game number 4 after a significant layoff. Don't stand up, Enes Kanter, because that crossover is going to go right by you. And look at the England.
That was close. George
Kick
pulled back.
first.
Three-pointer, Paul George. George with a hand in his face. That's a three. Paul George from downtown. He's now rebounds tonight. George drives right at Tice, gets knocked down. A lot of contact. Midway point here in the fourth. Paul George, high speed. Harrell throws it down, and it's a 5-point. Right now, the number one thing is George puts up another three, and this time nails it. And the Clippers go up 1.
On the steal, Paul George back the other way. He attacks, hangs, and hits.
For the shot blocking on the floor for them with this lineup.
George again working the right side of the floor. He hangs, he hits again.
Paul, they need though, the 5 assists. Some nights it's your game to score, some nights it's your game to facilitate.
Harrell and a foul.
Aaron Jackson Jr. very comfortable behind the 3-point line.
Paul George, that's a three. And Down it goes for Paul.
But 2 times be able to put back the offensive rebound.
Woo. Paul George hits a 3. Grizzlies wound up. Paul George for 3.
Say this much, partner. Straight up and down floater.
Moran with 10 in the quarter. And Paul George answers with a 3.
Got free throw shoot on the team.
Paul George counters with a 3.
Paul George, great look at a 3 and knocks it in. One less shot that bounced around. A man almost without a home. Here's a breakaway for George with no one really to beat. He's been surprised by it though anymore. Here's Paul George down the lane, down the half.
It's great, and Paul George has great speed, great quickness, uses his length to get right over the shoot and attack the rim and score.
Long 2 for Paul George. He's feeling good and let it fly. Paul George now. Clippers recycle. George with the handle, the scoop, and the score. Wow.
Again to Mr. PG313, I'mAscoreYou.com. But he uses a nice behind-the-back crossover and finishes with a nice, easy layup.
And that was the drive to the hoop brought to you by Honda. That was 50 points with 9.5 minutes to play in the second quarter. Teardrop runner by Paul George, count record last year in terms of points scored together. They've only gotten better. How about a turnover? Here comes Paul George. Oh my! He covered a lot of ground. Needless to say, San Antonio was a bit of a fluke. He is 9 of 14 in this first half and has 23 points and 4 rebounds.
I need to get an old-fashioned, you know what?
Well, here's Paul George. I mean, what are you going to do? Paul George now with 20. Harkless played so well the other night. Here is Paul George in traffic, floats it up anyway.
Hello. Historically, he's always been a really good first half, first quarter player, so you got to do a good job on him early on. That's funny you say that. I mean, you got 3 guys that are motivated to really come out here and play well today.
The step away from Paul George and now
And push him back to that left hand.
George for a straight-on 3, book it. And the Clippers pulled the wins in the last 15 that he's played. Lobs it to Montrez. Oh! Flying around Staples. Philadelphia a few nights ago. Paul George, a catch and shoot 3. He got it.
What a pass right now.
And a whistle on either side. There's going to be free throws. Lou to Paul George, curling, catching. Oh, damn!
What about the timing of this play? Slip the pick and roll. What a play right there drawn up by Doc.
Double, just let it go from 30 feet.
Paul George, 3 and good. 6 games.
Smart basketball player.
George hits his second 3 of the game. Montrez Harrell is in. And Hardaway goes down. George is left 3 for 3. What?
Yeah.
Kawhi's going to the Clippers and Paul George is getting traded.
Christmas in the summertime.
George hits another 3.
Yeah, he's been pretty good.
And Pat Beverly. Beverly and George run the breaks. Here comes Paul George. That's his first 2 points. Basket. Porzingis had a game against Cleveland where he was in a tough spot after the first half. 6 for 6 in the third quarter. He's made 2 to start the. Still a lot of threats out there to score the ball for the Clippers. One of them, Paul George, receives a pass from Lou Williams.